I'll tell you guys, este Benny se avienta with those videos. Man, he does great work. But guys, before we get started, Ceci, once again, sister, bienvenido. Ash Wednesday and Big Doug Collier, the legend. He'll be on with us tomorrow at 6 o'clock, the Gray Line. Welcome to your first Ash Wednesday. Hopefully you got a good cigar, you have a good drink, and salud, my brother. We look forward to you tomorrow. Big Mario, bienvenido once again, brother. And our brother in Christ and our brother in arms, Big Bob Lopez. Thank you, Big Bob. I think you're still in Phoenix. If not, we're praying for you, brother. Bienvenido once again. Chalo, welcome to the show, brother. Now you can tell people on our Wednesday show, our Tuesday show, don't know much about you. You know what I mean? But on Ash Wednesday, you get a chance to tell without interruptions. I know you don't smoke cigars, you used to, but you could have a nice drink. Before we get started, Bobby, what are you drinking and what are you smoking today?
I'm having some tequila today. Lalo, I love this tequila. It is, let's see, there it is. It's the grandson of the ones who put together Don Julio, of the original. Don Julio sold to a big company, but it's the grandson. And I don't mess around with my shot. This is, you were Mexico, David. You know how
yes.
This is, I got a Mexico shot glass right here. So
it's a 16-ounce shot glass.
it's a big shot glass, and I'm smoking. Yeah. I mentioned before in the first one, I love Espinosa cigars.
Yes.
And this is one that's been sitting in my humidor probably 3 years at least. It's a Murcielago, the back. Okay. But it's Espinosa Elite from the Espinosa Elite membership club.
Oh, so it's a Murciélago.
Yeah, yes. You see it?
Okay. Murciélago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love these.
I'll tell you, my favorite Espinosa is Naranja. Great. I bought a box once when I was living in Fort Lauderdale, and I'll tell you, that box lasted me, I think, a month because it's a great cigar, La Naranja. With that said, I'm smoking a Monte Cristo Blanco, Monte Cristo White, Churchill. Good draw, good cigar, little toasty, little leathery, but good cigar. And today I'm drinking, once again, my favorite drink is Glenmorangie, 18-year Glenmorangie. As you could see, my mother-in-law bought it for my birthday last year. As you can see, it's almost empty, so she needs to buy me another one. You know, salud. And Chalo, what are you drinking, my brother?
Kirkland water. No, I'm just kidding. So today, I it's been a while, David. So I gotta measure myself today because I haven't had a drink in, I want to say about 5 months, 6 months.
Hey, brother, I hope you didn't fall off the wagon for the show.
No, dude. So this is what I'm drinking. It's red press. It's Irish whiskey. It's a 21. It's a single pot, single malt. My wife got me this as a gift about 2 years ago. I'm almost done, and I think my son probably tapped into it until I told him, "Hey, bro, you can't drink that stuff because, you're probably putting Coke in it or something like that. You're not supposed to." I'm drinking one of my favorite glasses. It's from Disney, and it says Chief in the back, dude.
So, that is cool, man. Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
So, and cigars, you know what? When I used to smoke cigars, I really liked the Davidoff brand. Very smooth. I mean, it's for beginners. Yeah. And it's really smooth. I mean, I really liked it, but then I decided, you know what? I gave him, when I gave him up, it was probably July of last year. I said, yeah, I'm ready. It's a good once in a while, but I was doing where I was like you guys. You guys make a lot of money, retired, so you guys can afford those $30 cigars,
No, this ain't a $30 cigar.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing that the Davidoffs went up to. The ones I like, they went up to 27, 30, up to $35 a cigar, dude. If they were running low.
Hey, we got Bob Lopez, 37 years, no drink for me, but you guys enjoy. Hey, thank you, Big Bob, and we got Doug Collier. Oh, he's drinking the good stuff. McKellen, 18-year. Here you go, fellas. Hey, salute to everybody that's watching. Salute to our military, and salute to our beautiful country, the United States of America.
There you go. Cheers.
Salute. With that said, Bobby, let's start off with you. You want to talk about Haiti? You want to talk about America real quick? And then we're going to go in with Big Chalo here. It's all yours, Bobby.
Yeah, real quick. I think some of you know that I worked after I retired from the PD, I did 10 years of overseas work as a contractor. One of the jobs I worked was in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. It was a U.S. Department of State job, and I got into a fantastic job running the anti-kidnapping team. We did about 300 plus kidnapping investigations, and with the news over last weekend of just the unrest, I got friends on the ground right now still working there, and they say I would not recognize it. And it was a disaster. When I was there, there was a prison break, and I hear a couple of thousand inmates were released, the most violent of the violent, probably some of the kidnappers. And just heads up for us, because a lot of these people will stay in Haiti and continue their criminal activity, continue to do whatever they're doing, but some of them may take the opportunity to make the trip towards the U.S., pay a smuggler, and eventually end up in our country. So it's heartbreaking for me, because the Haitian National Police Anti-Kidnapping Unit were hard chargers. I was their advisor, and my small team worked alongside of them, and it broke my heart when I saw this, that so many of these violent criminals were released. And for us as a country, we have a lot of Haitians sneaking into our country, a lot of them looking for a better life, but there's a lot of criminals coming into our country. So keep your head on the swivel, and that was what I wanted to talk about today.
Hey, Bobby, I know you've traveled around the world many of times, and you're getting ready actually to go to Dubai, correct? For a 1 year for a 1 year mission. Yes. But before we hear from Chalo, tell us a little bit about these Venezolanos. They've been hitting the news lately a lot. I mean, I always thought the Venezolanos was a country, until the president came over and took over and made it. Now it's more of a socialist, and he's more of a, not a president, but he's more of a dictator. But these Venezolanos are coming out in the news a lot. They're the ones that are attacking the police officers. They're the ones that are involved in. Just not too long ago, there was a homicide of a young lady somewhere in the East Coast. She was a jogger, and two Venezolanos, two brothers, one raped her and murdered her. Tell us about them. What should we be aware? Are they like the Marialitos? How are the Venezolanos? Tell us about them.
We're getting intel that is saying that Nicolas Maduro, their dictator, he's a Marxist, that they're emptying out some of their jails, and then some of the so-called fact checkers, no, that's not true. Well, I have people inside telling me that they're running in to people when they're coming through Mexico, and they're being told this not only by Venezolanos that are part of the migrant train that's showing up, but by criminals. And my thing would be is this. You mentioned Marialitos. They're the next generation. I was a young street cop, and we were dealing with Marialitos here in the Cuban Marialitos that were released from the prisons during the Jimmy Carter boat lift. So they were violent, but they were just attacking each other. These groups of criminals, to me, they're criminal gangs or organized crime, and they get to the United States, they're criminals in their country. It's a very difficult place to live. There's poverty beyond anything that we could see. People are starving to death. There's no work. Inflation is through the roof. So people have to resort to crime. And these criminals are like super criminals, violence, the violence that we don't see normally here. Then you mix in the people that are coming from Central America and other parts of the world. It's a danger to our country. And these people, where they live, there's no law and order. A lot of these places, there's no law and order. It's like, David, you were in Mexico with me. I was in parts of Tamaulipas where there was no police. The only law enforcement was military. And the military are just manning checkpoints. They're not doing patrol functions or any of that. When I was in Tamaulipas, in Ciudad Victoria, in Reynosa, I would be in an armored vehicle traveling through the city, and we would come in across cartel checkpoints. They would look at our diplomatic plates and wave us through. They knew who we were, we knew who they were, but there was no police, just military. When the military shows up, then you have the confrontation. But back to Venezuela, we just need to be careful. These people show up, they're going to arrive in the U.S., they speak no English, and if the government is not giving them handouts, which some places are receiving handouts. but even with the handouts, they're going to be engaged in criminal activity to enrich themselves.
Wow, we're in for it's an eye opener over here in when right before I left the Miami area. The majority of the Uber drivers, first they were the Cubanos, and then in Fort Lauderdale we started seeing the Venezolanos, and now you go to Fort Lauderdale, I'd say probably 80% are from Venezuela, and like I said, some were doctors, some were lawyers, and some you could tell that they were criminals. But yeah,
they're in Broward. They're in Broward County in Weston. I got friends that live in Weston.
Okay, Broward County. That's where I was living at. Yeah,
is Westenzuela. We call it Westenzuela there.
Really, I didn't know that. So yeah, it makes sense.
But those are Venezolanos with money.
Yes,
those are old money that fled when Hugo Chavez took over. They got the hell out of Dodge, and they left way before Maduro. So yeah. It's just a yes, there it is. Yes, but it's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Without a doubt. Chalo, it's all yours, brother. Tell us, Chalo, share with us your experience as a chief of police. But prior to becoming chief of police, you actually talked about it on 2 episodes on the Gray Line. But a lot of people that are watching today probably never saw that episode. Tell us about the corruption, how it started within your police department, how you were put on administrative leave for a year, how the FBI got involved, and how you were basically the whistleblower, which was something great because you saved your department. And Chalo, with that, it's all yours. If we have any questions, we're going to jump in. I'm going to put you solo so you could tell the story. Share with us what happened, what you went through, brother.
All right. So, first of all, I want to do a disclaimer. everybody that is currently at the Calexico Police Department after everything happened, we have outstanding people working there, as shorthand as the department is. These guys give 100% all the time, from support staff to the officers. So my hat's off to the officers. I don't mean to bring any shame to them, because again, these were people that the majority of them weren't even there when this happened, and some of these people that were there when this happened, they're just officers. They weren't command staff. They were afraid. They were afraid of what was going on. So they weren't going to speak up. And unfortunately, we're police officers, and we're supposed to, we stand up, for people's rights. We fight for justice. But when it's in house, it's a little bit different, guys. And so let's rewind it. So what happened in Calexico was something and we've talked about it. I have 2 other officers that ended up retiring, that were also part of this. An administrative assistant was also part of this, and you can see that they went through the same thing I did, but I think I went a little bit more of a more level. With me, they were going for the jugular. With them, they were just trying to, get them out of the way, or something like that. They weren't that high up in the chain of command, so they figured, you know what, these are just. They used to call them snitches, so they called all of us snitches. So this started happening around 2010, 2011-ish. And the problem is this, and I said it before, is I love unions, police unions, but here in California, there was a law firm that got disbarred, and they lost their license, but they were dirty. These guys were really, and I'm not going to say names, but people that have been in law enforcement know who these guys are. They were out of Riverside County. And they had a playbook that they went by on how to take over cities and how to take over police departments and bring in their own agenda, whether it be putting the people they want in positions of promotion, positions of power. And that's what they did. We had a chief that I was his lieutenant, and he was a chief, a good guy, had a lot of experience, but, everybody has little, skeletons in our closets. Whether they be small skeletons or huge skeletons, maybe 1 or 1,000 skeletons are skeletons. So they went after this guy, and they couldn't get rid of him. And then so they went and they pushed. they there was a city council that came in, and of course, anytime it's a five council governing board in Calexico, and they got the magic number. They got three council members in around that time, and they pushed my chief out on early retirement. He already had been a police officer for a little bit over 30 years, but he had a long time there at the city. He had been a chief since 2007, all the way to 2012. So they pushed him out in 2012. He did 5 years. I think he had another 2 3 years to go. They pushed him out, and then they brought in their own chief. Well, prior to that, there was a lot of things going on that myself and the two other officers and the secretary would see. It started with seeing some of these guys with a lot of money in their wallets or in their in their pockets, and these guys would show off the money. So they would, let's say for instance, we would pitch in for a barbecue. We were gonna have every 2 weeks. We would have a carne asada or hamburgers or something. We would cook for everybody, for the staff and everything. And one of these guys or two of these guys would pull out their wallets and they had a stack of cash, dude. And being a police officer, I don't know about you guys, but I never carried more than $40 on me cash. 100 sometimes if my wife allowed it, but most of the time it's you carry your debit card, credit card, or you have $40, but not 2,000 or $3,000 in cash.
Hey,
Right.
Charlo, were these guys patrol officers that were doing this, or were
So
they upper echelon sergeants, lieutenants?
so no lieutenants, but we did have a sergeant, and then two of them got promoted. During this time when they got rid of that chief. So I mean, these guys, had control, mostly control the department. I mean, you only have at the time we only had I believe six sergeants, and when you have three, four of the sergeants are doing this, or at least three of the sergeants are doing this, and the other one sergeant is doesn't not anything to do with it, and then another sergeant is afraid to say anything because they know they're going to come after him, and so it's one of those things, that these guys, hey, you know what? If it doesn't bother me, I'm not going to say anything. So it was bad, dude. So it got really bad. They got rid of their chief. They brought in their own chief, and that's when it got worse. I mean, this chief started moving people around, put all and it was mostly guys that were leadership in the association, whether president, board members, vice president, like that. So they got promoted to sergeants, and then they got put into the detective bureau, which it was a 3 to 5 year rotation, and now you have them in a position where they can do surveillance, they can do counter surveillance. Nobody is really watching them. I was supposed to be the lieutenant that oversaw investigations and all the special ops guys, like guys that were in DEA, narcotics task force, and all that stuff like that. And I had no control over them. The guy that had control was a sergeant, and he was a sergeant that was most heavily involved in what's going on. Um, One of the things that happened, and it's in my deposition. I mean, it's no secret. When I got deposed during some of these lawsuits and stuff that happened, um, we had a confidential informant that was going to come into the PD after hours. It was during the winter time. The sun goes down early, and I figured there was nobody there. And I told my two guys, my two detectives, I said, "Hey, why don't you guys go pick him up?" And it was like 6 p.m. Everybody was gone. I said, "Why don't you go pick him up and bring him in through the back door? I mean, nobody's going to see him. It's dark. Nobody's going to see him. And bring him in here. We'll meet with him in my office, in the administration office, which nobody has access to once they close shop at 5 p.m. And we'll talk to him here." So they go pick him up, and they're driving into the parking lot, the rear parking lot of the police department, getting ready to find a parking to park close to the rear door or the back door where they come in. And the guy tells my guys, "Go, go, 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 get out of here, get out of here." And my guys, "What's going on?" He goes, "Get out of here, get out of here." And they leave. So I'm waiting for him to come in, and I'm going, "Man, what's taking these guys?" I get a phone call from my guy, and he says, "Hey, ALT, I need for you to meet with us up here in the north end of town, at one of our places where we would go and pay our CIs or get info off of them sometimes." He goes, "Okay, the same place, yeah." So I show up, and this CI I mean, this guy's smoking cigarettes, all pale, scared, dude. And I said, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And he said, "Hey, man, you know what? I saw this guy there that he runs with the cartel in Mexicali, as he's part of the cartel. And at the time, the Sinaloa cartels are the ones that had most of the plaza down in Calexico. He says they call him El Sargento. He sits at the big table with all the cartel guys, and he's dirty. And I said, "Well, are you sure?" He goes, "No, no." So he describes him to a T. And this guy had certain tattoos that, oh, only a person that gets close to him knew. And he says, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this guy's describing him to the T." And so at that point, I come to Imperial, and because I used to live close by the FBI office up in Imperial, and I meet with an FBI agent, and so I kind of tell him, "Hey, man, this has been going on for a while." I give him the whole story. I say, "This is going on. This is what I've seen. People are getting beat up. Nothing's being reported. Officers are getting heavy-handed with suspects. I mean, the guys gave up, and they're still, going in there and punching them and threatening them. We had a guy that had done a rip. He we're on patrol. He goes and he pulls over a car, and the guy's got a kilo of coke, and he takes it away from him, and he never books it into evidence.
Wow.
And so stuff started coming out like that, and then the same guy and another guy were running. They were smuggling aliens. So I give him the whole story. I said, "Hey, man, you guys need to look into this. And I got some people here that are willing to talk." I said, "I got my two investigators. I have the administrative assistant, and I have a couple of dispatchers that are willing to talk because they know what's going on."
Hey, Chalo, were these guys bringing aliens across in the patrol vehicle? Did
No,
you know at the time?
So what we found out is that they were just doing a lot of the setup stuff uh, while they were working, and then the fact was that since we're a small department, we only had 55 officers. We had like 65 radios, two-way radios, portable radios, and everybody got assigned a radio. So everybody had a radio assigned. So these guys would do a lot of counter intelligence for. Then they knew where everybody was at. They would listen to Border Patrol. They would listen to sheriff's office and stuff like that, and see where they were patrolling. And then they could call an agency and say, "Hey, you know what? This is Officer Gerardo, and Officer Gerardo, I'm calling in. Hey, I'm doing something, and I just want to make sure that that none of your officers are in the area. Can you tell me where your guys are at?" And so, "Oh yeah, you know what? We only have 4 units working tonight, and right now they're all working at domestic up in the north end of the county, or there's 2 guys up there, 2 guys down here." And so they get all that intel, and it's okay. You know what? Cool. And nobody would ever question him because I mean, the guy's legit, and he's an officer. So nobody knew what was going on. So I mean, it was just the beginning stages of stuff that we saw. Um, I did an op to at one time, and we brought ABC, alcohol beverage control, over to one of our bars that were they were prostituting and dealing dope. And so these guys come in, and we're ready to do the UC guys. UC guys are going in there, and this guy that was one of the guys that was dirty. When we were leaving, he finds out what's going on, and one of the other officers trusted him, saying, "Yeah, we're going to go be hitting the bars, and we're going to do this." He didn't tell him which bars. We had like 6 bars at the time. We're going to hit 6 bars in the strip, and we're gonna do some UC. So this guy, they tell him, and sure enough, our 2 guys walk in. I mean, and these guys look. I mean, they didn't look like cops, dude. These guys, they're all, wearing mustache, beards, long hair, shorts, and they fit, hey, they're ready to go in there. So they go in there, and they tell us, we're out in different, we're surveilling them. We're waiting for them to say a safe word or whatever. All of a sudden, we see them walk out, and they keep on walking, and then we pick them up, and we go to the police station. And then they said, "No, we don't want to meet there. Let's meet somewhere else." So I said, "Well, let's meet at the Walmart parking lot." So we all go to the Walmart parking lot, and we get there. They say, "You know what, Lieutenant, we're done, man. We're never coming into your city again. You guys are corrupt." And I'm going, "What? What happened?" He says, "Well, yeah, we were there at the bar, and we were at one side of the bar. All of a sudden, the lights go off, and everybody that's there, they all move to the north, the other side of the wall, from the away from the bar. They turn on the lights, and we're the only 2 fools standing there. And they all look at us, and they say, 'You guys aren't from around here. You guys are cops.'" And they're like, no, we're not cops. We just came by. We decided, coming down from Mexicali, we decided to, have a beer before we go home. And they asked these guys for an ID, and these guys show an ID, and yeah, they're not from town. He goes, hey, he goes, nah, you guys are cops. We know you guys are cops.
Wow.
And they left. They felt really unsafe, and never again did they volunteer to do UC work here in Calexico because of that. So those are some of the stuff that.
Chalo, before you continue, Bobby, feel free to jump in with any questions. I have another question for you, Chalo. That chief of police that they brought in, that POA association brought in, did he have any chief experience? Did he come from a big department, LA, San
So
Diego? Who was this? I know you can't mention
yeah,
names, but did he have any chief experience?
so he did not any Chiefs experience. This guy, he got his degree from University of Phoenix. Later on, we found out because he used to brag about it, that his daughter was the one that did most of his work on his island degree there. And so what he did is he goes in. He was a sergeant for our sheriff's department. 30 years experience, law enforcement, retires. He's like 2 years retired. The guy, they bring him in as chief, and he's really close to one of the council members that was in the time was there. And so, I mean, kind of, so he brought him in, of course, to do him favors, do everybody favors. That guy had no business being there, had no leadership, no command presence, no experience, to the point that the way our structure was at the PD was you had one chief and then two commanders, which was myself and the other commander, my counterpart. And he had the sergeants over us, and came to the point he didn't want us in the office anymore. He put us on the two different patrol teams, opposite shifts. I would work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. My counterpart would work Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or no, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every other Saturday. I work every other Saturday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Both of us day shift. We were out of the office, dude. They didn't want us in
I,
the office. Now I know why they didn't want us at night, because during the night these guys did a lot of shady stuff. One of the guys, I mean, it was so bad that one of the guys that was involved that got fired. He would go. He did 2 runs to Phoenix in his assigned police car, and he brought back guns from Phoenix, rifles, and he would take him down south.
Hey,
Uh,
Chalo, was he working undercover at the time, a UC car, or was it actually a patrol car?
it was a UC car, but he was assigned to detectives.
it's just when I'm listening to this, I was an undercover guy for 7 years. Saul Ayala, who'll be on one of those shows, did it a lot longer than I did. I I can't imagine working under a circumstance that I don't trust my own people, or that we had some shady agencies out on the outskirts of Phoenix. One was disbanded, but most of the things I ran into were incompetent bosses that didn't realize what type of danger they were trying to force me to do. So that was some fighting this way, but I never had a boss or coworkers that I thought were just flat out corrupt. And I couldn't even imagine working under those circumstances. That's insane.
Yeah, so we go out with FBI. We start giving them all kinds. We start gathering an intel. Thank God I had dispatchers, the two dispatchers that were very honest. They also were debriefed by FBI, and so I got all the intel that I could get for them. Hours worked, what they were doing. Uh, Cars that were driving. So not one thing that this chief forgot, because he took away all my power. Dude. I mean, I didn't have access. I used to be the IT semi-expert in the department, so I would troubleshoot everything in our IT and in our computer systems and our record management systems and our dispatch. And if I couldn't fix it, then we would get our IT people to come in and they would fix it. But I mean, I could run, troubleshoot everything. Something went down at 2 in the morning, and they would call me in and say, okay, you know what, I'll VPN. If I can't VPN in, I'll go down there and try to reboot, try to refix what do. And so this guy took all that stuff away. I mean, even our in-car videos, I had no access to that stuff. Where before I had access to that stuff. I mean, it was just crazy. Well, he forgot that I was a fleet manager for the PD too. And so I had all the keys to all their undercover cars. I had all and all the patrol cars were keyed alike. So I mean, I didn't have to have all those keys, but I had keys to everything. I had keys to the back of our uh, the cars, our in-car video systems. Everything's locked up in our hard drive back then, and so I had keys to that. And so the FBI says, "Hey, you know what?" He goes, we're looking at getting a warrant and try to get into their cars to see if they have any phones, any stuff. I said, look, dude, I said, run it through the AUSA, the assistant, what do you call it, attorney,
Assistant U.S. Attorney.
U.S. attorney, yeah, assistant U.S. attorney, and I said, run it through them and tell them that I am in writing, I am the fleet manager. Those cars belong to the city of Calexico. I am the gatekeeper here. I'm the key master. I said, I have all the keys. And if I give you guys permission to go into those cars to get whatever you guys want, ask him if he'll fly. So he goes and man, he calls me right away. He says, hey, run it through them, run it through the actual U.S. attorney from San Diego. We did this. He goes, dude, there's nothing that says we can't do
No,
that.
that's right.
He goes, the cars belong to the city. You're the key master. You're giving us permission. Cool. So I give him the keys. 2 days later, man, I get a phone call right at 6 in the morning, man, and it's him, and he says, "Boy, I want to. Next time I see you, I'm gonna give you a big hug and kiss, dude. You friggin' man. We hit the jackpot." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, two of those cars. These guys left their other cell phones in there. They're probably their burner phones." He goes, "We dumped everything from
Wow.
those phones." He goes, we went in there, dude, and we boom, boom, dumped everything. Holy shit! So then they also did some trash runs, and they recovered some property that belonged to the city. After we had a camera that was assigned to one of the sergeants, and they proved that it was his trash because they said, "Hey, can you go through the camera?" So yeah, that's our camera. Look, these are our markings. I pulled from our property guy that keeps quartermaster keeps track of all our property. I said, "Hey, you know what? Give me all the serial numbers to all the cameras." And I just told him, give me serial numbers for computers, give me, so I just needed the one for the cameras. And sure enough, as soon as I looked it up, yep, that's assigned to this guy. So when they did the trash one, he goes, yeah, you can put in report that is his camera assigned to him. So they got a lot of stuff, dude. I think they had a great case. And then so while this chief, there was a color of the abuse of authority where one of the sergeants that he promoted uh, arrested this girl for DUI. Girl was tiny. She was like 5'2", about 140 pounds, 130, maybe less. He was at least 6 foot, 280, 290, fat, not muscular. And he freaking she starts kicking and screaming at him, calling him every name in the book, like any person does, and he goes, opens the back door, and he throws her into the back seat of the car, but she didn't go through the car. She hits the beam of the car, between the both doors. Boom, breaks her nose, dude. Dislocates, I think, her shoulder. And they try to cover up. And so one of the things that we found out, because the FBI was trying to get video of that from our camera, our in-car cameras, is the chief at the time did not let the FBI go in and retrieve that stuff.
Hey,
And
Chalo, two quick questions. Was it a specialized FBI team that flew in from probably Quantico that
no,
they were the anti-corruption team? That's
no.
question number one. Question number two, did your chief know that the FBI was now investigating police corruption?
Number one, no, it's not a special unit. Unfortunately, if it would have been a special unit, probably they would something more would have happened, and this will go to the end. So what happens is now, um, the chief didn't have an idea. He thought it was just somebody because people got wind of it. It's a small town, and one of our city council members, which is a female, hats off to her. This lady, was a lot of people, didn't like her at the time, but she knew what she was doing. I mean, she was calling them, calling them out as they were coming out, and she didn't like these guys. So they went out there. A lot of public, during the council meetings, they were going out there and saying, calling the officers corrupt and this and that. So they knew that the FBI. So the FBI would say, hey, we're going to look into this color and abuse of authority, and we want to, access to your videos. Well, they didn't do it, dude. So later on, we find out. So I'm not gonna give too far. So this happens, dude. This guy is a chief for 18 months, dude. The worst 18 months of my life, dude. I was driving it was this happened in 2012. I had a 2012 Dodge Charger assigned to me. He took it away from me. It was an all white unmarked car with the hidden emergency lights. It looked like a cop car just without the decals, dude, and without the light bar.
Just to
Uh,
punish you? Just to
no, no,
punish you?
that's what I was driving. So
Yeah,
he
but
took
he
he,
took it
he,
from,
he
to
took it
punish you?
away, and he said that he was gonna assign it to our guy at the narcotics task force because his car had broken down. Okay, so now our guy in the narcotics task force were at the time they're driving Toyota Camrys, Prius, or not Toyota Sienna vans, Honda Odysseys. They're driving little pickup trucks. Your what your narcotics guys do because they don't want to be burned. I mean, they want to mix in with everybody's that's out there. You're not gonna give them a Dodge Charger.
Right.
Uh, so then he goes and he uh, gives it to this guy, dude. We had a 2006 Ford Crown Vic that was getting ready to be auctioned off, dude. He pulls it out. They put new tires. They wash it. They fix the AC on it, and that's my new assigned unit. So he comes and he says, you know what? I'm gonna go because I said, cool. I said, hey chief, you know what? You do whatever you want to. I said, here's the keys to my car. I said, I'll tell you this. There's nothing wrong with that car. I said, seats are new. I'm the only one that drives it. Blah blah blah. I'll give him the spill, the whole spill, and this is what's going on. I said, you can give me a horse if you want to. I'll ride a horse to work every day. I said, don't expect me to be here at 6 in the morning, to patrol my shift because it's a horse. If the horse wants to stop to drink water or take a dump or pee, I can't force the horse. I said, so he got pissed off at me. Go, oh, you're being sarcastic or you think you're being funny? I said, no, I'm just telling you that it's not doesn't affect me. And so I'm driving this piece of shit car at the time, and it's okay. Everybody's like everybody's in the department is going like, oh man, the good guys. This is chicken shit. But then you had the seven guys that were part of this group that were laughing at me. And I didn't care. I was like, you know what, dude, whatever. This is not gonna be forever. I'm going like, you know what, it's gonna end one of these days. So it's cool. So this guy's trying to do all kinds of stuff, and they're trying to demoralize me more. Just totally ass. He would yell at me in staff meetings. He would put me down in front of the public, and I'm just writing everything down, dude. I'm writing
And
everything down.
Chalo, you were like the second in command. It's a
Yes.
small department, so you didn't have a commander, you didn't have a
No.
captain. You
No.
had the highest ranking officer in uniform was a lieutenant, and then you
Yeah.
had a chief.
Yeah.
So was there one or two lieutenants? Or were you the highest ranking
It was. It
lieutenant?
was. It was my two guys. So we were equal. We were equal. So one day, so check this out. So being part of my duties were the computers. All right. So my computer was acting weird, and so I tell him, "Hey, I need a new computer. It's 33 years old, and it keeps on crashing on me." And so he says, "Okay, you know what? Have this sergeant give you a new computer." I said, "I have to go to a sergeant for a computer. I have keys to access. I mean, I'm just gonna pull one out." No, no, you go to him. He's gonna give you a computer. I said, "All right, cool. I mean, if that's what you say, cool." So he gives me a
And
brand new.
was it one of the dirty sergeants?
Yeah. So it was a brand new
Oh,
computer in a box. I mean, the seals were okay. So as you know, their seals, they're not broken. Looked at it. So our IT guy comes in, and the guy has like 6 hours trying to get everything transferred from my computer over to the new computer because it kept on crashing on him. And he said, "Hey, I was only able to do like 80% of your stuff." I said, "Nah, I don't care." I said, "As long as I get 80%." I said, I got a bunch of stuff in there. So he gives me my hard drive. He says, here's your hard drive. What are you gonna do with that?" I said, "I'm gonna destroy it." I said, our policy says that I can destroy this. I can break the hard drive, and it was a disk hard drive. It wasn't a solid state hard drive. So I go to the fire department, which is right next door, and they have a vice script. And one of the firefighters there, I said, "Hey, dude, can you be a witness?" And he goes, "A witness?" I said, "Yeah, dude." He said, "Look at the serial number, and I'm gonna break this. It's a city hard drive. I'm gonna break it in front of you. I'm gonna put it in this bag. I'm gonna seal it for e-waste. But I want to make sure you see that I destroyed it because I'm gonna put you in my memorandum that I destroyed this hard drive." I said, "I have a lot of internal affairs investigations there, a lot of
Confidential.
a lot of operational plans that we did in the past that might have something there. And I said I don't want to ruin it, so he said, yeah, cool. He goes, he saw it, broke it. Okay, I take off. The next day, the chief comes in with that dirty sergeant, and he says, "Where's your hard drive?" And I said, "I put it in the e-waste." So, but where's it at? I said, "It's in the e-waste." No, it was a week later. So it put it in the e-waste. So they just go get it. So I go over where our e-waste is at, and it's empty. There's no hard drives, no nothing. And it's like, dude, there's gone. So we get a hold of our IT guy. We say, hey, dude, what happened to the e-waste? Oh yeah, he goes. 2 days after I gave you your hard drive, we did e-waste from all the city, and we picked up all the e-waste from every department, and we got rid of all this stuff. I said, all right. So I go to the chief. I say, hey man, it's gone. What do you mean it's gone? He goes, I'm ordering you to give me the hard drive. I said, oh okay. I said, so I just looked at him. The secretary's there. She goes, she's funny because she goes, where are you gonna pull this hard drive out of the air? I said, no. I said, I'm gonna pull it out of my ass. I said, because I don't know where the hell I'm gonna pull this out. I don't have it. So he comes in and he starts yelling at me, and so I called the other lieutenant. I said, "Hey, I need a witness for this dude." So he goes in with me, and we're in there, and he's like, he kind of fronts my lieutenant, and he kind of pumps his chest out. He goes, "What do you want?" He goes, "Well," he goes, "the lieutenant asked me to come in here because he wants a witness." And he goes, "Well, I don't want you in." He goes, "Well, you have the sergeant in here, and he goes, he shouldn't even be here. He's just a sergeant." And he says, "No, no, no. To me, he's a commander." And we're like, "What?" So then later on, we find out that he was trying to make him a commander over us. So I mean, the guy's got no experience. Anyway, so that guy was pissed because I couldn't produce a hard drive. So remember this, a hard drive. This plays a role later on. So I destroyed the hard drive in June of 2013. No, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, June of 2013. It gets destroyed. So then it continues. There's a lot of shit going on, and just I mean, and we're reporting stuff left and right. These guys are doing all kinds of crazy shit,
And meanwhile,
and
the FBI is still
yeah,
investigating.
investigating. So we're like, man, what the hell's going on? I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I was on vacation. They had an officer involved shooting on a search warrant, which and you work narcotics, Bob. So check this out. So these guys roll up to a house in a blacked out SUV. Four guys jump out wearing street clothes with guns. The target is contacted outside the house, but the brother, who has nothing to do with this, or the father, or the rest of the family, is only the target. Only the guy is suspect is the dirty guy. Everybody else doesn't. He the guy, he's got his girlfriend and two kids in his house, and he says, "Oh shit!" He runs inside. He sees these thugs coming in. He's thinking, "Oh shit, my brother's in deep shit with a cartel or something, and I'm gonna go." You know, these two guys give chase to this guy, and he tries to close the bedroom door. I guess I wasn't there, so there's a struggle, and a gun goes off. The officer's gun goes off, and he hits the guy twice in the shoulder and
Hey
I think
Bob,
somewhere
hey,
in his body.
hey Chalo, these guys didn't have a bulletproof vest that said police on it. They
No,
didn't have
no,
nothing.
vest, nothing that says police, right?
They could think they're being ripped. They
Yeah,
could
Yeah.
think
yeah.
that
Well,
they're ripped.
so the brother thought that it's the cartels coming after my brother.
Right,
That's what he
right.
thought. He didn't think they were, he didn't think they were cops. He didn't know that, apparently this guy had guns and dope.
And
And
in
so
Calexico, that's pretty well known. The fact that the guys from Mexicali, the carteles come across and they do the rip, they go back to Mexico. So it was pretty common
we,
for that to happen. Correct?
especially in that side of town, we've had judiciales and cartel members do cajuelazos. They come in at night and they're looking for somebody. They'll stop the car, open up the trunk, throw that guy in the back of the trunk, and it's like a not even a mile dash to the border, and they're in South. You know what I'm saying? It's happened before. So these guys are going like, what? But it was during the day, and these guys were like, what the hell's going on? So this shit doesn't get reported. Our protocol says that we do the internal like everybody else. We investigate a violation of if there's any violation of policy, whatever happened, they're shooting. The sheriff's office or the district attorney's office investigators do the actual criminal investigation. Well, this chief said we're doing everything.
You're doing administrative and criminal.
Everything. They're doing everything. So the guy, the shooter, I think, in my opinion, gets off. They don't do anything. Um, we later find out years later, after this chief was gone, and after the FBI raid, I see a family member from the person that they shot, and I say, "Hey, how come you guys never filed a lawsuit against the city?" I mean, and he says, "Nah, we didn't want to." I said, "Bullshit." I said that was millions dollars because the guy lost like 75-80% usage of his arm. Young
Wow.
guy. I mean, I'm looking at this guy's gonna get at least $1 million. It's you look at his life, in his missing out on jobs or whatever. He was not, he got shot. I mean, they tried to cover everything up, but no, nothing. They were afraid. They never talked. They didn't want to talk to the FBI when the FBI went to go talk to them, and stuff like that. I come back and I asked the chief one time. I said, "Hey, so since I'm the investigation, lieutenant, I oversee investigations and everything else. Are you going to brief me on this case?" Goes, "No, don't worry about it. You're on vacation." I said, "Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you want my 2 cents on what I think we should do or what we should?" No. He goes, "Don't worry about it. I already told you. You were on vacation." I'm going,
Wow.
"Oh shit, cover up." Just like the
Yeah,
cover
yeah.
up or the guy that broke the girl's nose. Oh, so then they were working Stone Garden grant, the federal grant. These guys would go in there, punch in. They didn't do it, nothing. They rely on their Stone Garden forms of how much mileage they did, what activity they did, and these guys. I mean, these guys were tripling, quadrupling their for that year and a half, quadrupling their base salary.
You got Albert
And
Ibarra. Welcome to the
yeah,
show, Albert, the
uh,
Big Joe from Galicia. Chalo, you were a good one in Calexico PD.
yeah.
Orale,
Hey, thanks, Albert.
thank you, Albert.
Appreciate it. And so this thing happens. I'm working that opposite shift. I get a phone call from this new city manager that actually, thank God, brought in a guy that was a man of God, and he saw what was going on, and he says, "I'm bringing in this new chief. I'm not even telling the council." So goes in there, and he brings in the chief. I go over there, and myself and the lieutenant are there when we relieve the other chief from his duty. Gives us his gun and his badge. They give him his final check, and we said, "You're not allowed at the PD no more. We're gonna gather whatever stuff you have. See ya."
Yeah.
And he was gone. So then this chief came in within a month of him being in, or weeks actually. I already had told him what we were doing. He goes to the FBI. We meet with the FBI, and he says,
Hey,
"Hey, man."
Chalo, can you tell us, even though it's part of your deposition, who this chief was and what department he was
So
coming from?
so the chief was Michael J. Bostic. He was LAPD chief. His sister was Charlie Beck's what you might call it, uh,
Wife?
sister.
Oh, really?
Charlie's
Okay.
Beck and Chief Bostic's wife are brother sister. They're siblings. So he brought a lot of experience. Yeah, the guy probably might have had that baggage. People, everybody's like I said, they talk crap about him, but the guy had a lot of integrity. I mean, the guy came in to do a job, and his job was to look into everything, and if people needed to be disciplined, it was going to happen. I mean, we brought in a cadre of investigators. I mean, the city spent a lot of money, and investigations plus lawsuits. Out of the 7 people, only one person came back, and I believe my feeling is he came back in as a technicality. I don't want to get too much into it because this guy is so happy he's going to try to go after me for whatever I say. But he comes in, he cleans up, he gives us back our power, and we start cleaning the department. We find all kinds of stuff. I mean, as in all the shenanigans that they were doing. The FBI kind of briefs us on what's going on. So one of the worst feelings, and we'll go down to October 30th, 2014. It was probably one of the worst days of my life. I thought I was prepared for this. I honestly thought I was prepared. I knew it was happening. I knew it was coming down, and I said, "You know what? It's going to happen." And I know it's happening today. Uh, Let me tell my wife. Um, And so we the chief calls a meeting with these guys because they were still all assigned to investigations. He left them there, and his mentality was, I know where they're at. I want to keep them here. They're no longer running wild. Uh, you're overseeing them now. They have to report to you, and you keep an eye on these guys. I said, all right, cool. I mean, I'm keeping an eye on them. They couldn't run wild. These guys with the other chief, the chief that got that brought in all these guys over, they would go out and have 2 3 hour lunches
Yeah.
every day. They didn't do anything. They didn't do a damn thing. And so we're at our one of our training rooms, and the city manager comes in and he says, um, "Hey, chief, I need to talk to you." They go to the hallway. Chief comes back and he goes, "Hey, lieutenant, I need you and the other lieutenant. Can you guys come to the hallway?" And these guys didn't have any. No, they still had their weapons on them. And so as I hit the hallway, dude, I see FBI. They're special response guys. They're all tacked out, dude. Helmet,
Oh, yeah.
their vest, long gun, and that's when it hit me. I'm going, man. I felt like we were the being
You
raided.
were the suspects.
Yeah, I'm the suspect. I felt now I know because I know what what these dirtbags feel like when we're hitting their doors. And
Hey,
so
Charlo, and you didn't have a clue that that was the day that they were going to come in and do the raid?
I knew, like I
Huh?
said, I thought I was ready.
Yeah, he did.
I wasn't ready, guys.
Mhm.
It was I was not ready. I honestly thought I was ready. I was not ready for what was going to happen. And so we go, and they assigned me because it was my day off. They assigned me to say, hey, it was my birthday too. So so I said, you know what, Chalo, you're gonna go around with the evidence recovery team, and you're gonna take them with all their cars. You're gonna go through the offices with them. You're gonna do everything, but we're gonna be in our admin conference room. So they tells Lieutenant Serrano, he says, hey, you know what, Lieutenant, you're gonna bring one guy, one by one, and we're gonna, you know, give them notice of admin leave, and they're gonna be interviewed by the FBI. So one by one, they're doing that. I'm in the parking lot doing that. So when I go to our conference room, man, the FBI, their evidence recovery team, we have a huge long table. They had all their equipment there. So they took all their computers and they were mirroring all their computers, all their cell phones, and they were mirroring them first, and then they were shutting them off, and then they were tagging everything, taking the hard drives off and tagging everything. So while they were doing that, we went everywhere, dude. We're doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, the whole day, we were busy from 10 o'clock in the morning when the hit no 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning it hit because the meeting was at 9:30 in the morning
Hey,
to
hey,
probably like
Charlo, did
4.
the new chief of police from LAPD, did he know that that was going to be the day and that they
No,
were
no,
going to
no, yeah,
storm the
yeah,
office? He didn't
no,
know
yeah,
either?
no, he
He
knew,
did?
he knew. No, I mean, he was the one that actually went and said, hey, we need to do it now. We need to
Okay.
do it now. So that same day, they did a press conference. If you look up the incident, you'll see that our DAs there, our sheriffs there, our assistant DAs there, other law enforcement agencies are there, our city manager, our mayor's there, a couple of city council members there. Everybody's there in unity. They're like, it's a sad day, history of Calexico, but it had to be done. And so you fast forward it. These guys, they start their hearings. We go through some depots. I got depoted for 8.5 hours nonstop, guys, because I chose.
Wow.
I said I'm not coming back. I said you guys, and it was depoted by their attorneys in San Diego, and I had all these guys, 7 guys or six, seven, up there, and their attorneys, and I had our city attorney and myself and the person, the stenographer, and they were all there to keep to try to intimidate me. And I said, as a matter of fact, I mean, to try to keep my composure was hard, guys. Because at this point, I mean, I was so pissed off with these guys. I mean, I just, I was like, man, you guys are dirty, and you guys are fighting this. If you only knew, but I know they were deputing me because they wanted to know what we had criminal on these guys. Because at that time we got a hold of the FBI, and the FBI says, you know what? There's nothing that stops you from keeping anything from them. He goes, you can say, I mean, there's nothing that's secret. I mean, we have everything we need it, we want it, and so whatever they want. And so I mean, when I'm talking about, about their CI, recognizing one of them, I'm talking about the money, I'm talking about, all the stuff that I saw. They would smirk, and so I'm going like, you bastards.
Hey, Chalo, did that shooting come up where they hit the house with no
Yeah,
insignias?
yeah,
Did that come up in
yeah.
the deposition?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I brought all that stuff up. I mean, I mean, I didn't hold back either. Once they told me, I said, why? I want them to know what I know, and because you know what, there was a time where I thought maybe it was my mind. I was seeing things. I was like, it can't be happening. I said, not that, no, that blatantly. I said, these guys can't be doing this, dude. Nah, dude. I think I'm just seeing things. And when the FBI told me, he goes, look, you know what, man? He goes, we can't tell you much about the case, but you're not seeing things. You're not going crazy. Everything you saw, dude, you're freaking spot on, bro. He goes,
There's a there was a towards the tail end of my career, I was in organized crime, and I got a call. Phoenix is big enough. We have a group of detectives that just do criminal investigations on officers and city employees, and everybody knows they're at an off-site location. And I get called by a friend that requests me to go there. So your mind, you start thinking, shit, what is it? I drive over there, walk in the door, my buddy's there, and just messing around with him, I say, you look at me funny, and I'm biting down on that cyanide capsule I got back here. I'm done.
Yeah.
He goes, no, asshole. He says, we need you as a Spanish speaker. And they swore me in, and I didn't want to do it at first, but the more I started digging, after a while, I didn't see this guy as a cop. I saw him as a criminal. He was a criminal. And I was there the day they arrested him, and it was like surreal because you had this. It was like he knew something was going on. The night before, I found out because we set up a fake roundup. He started calling people, hey, who's doing this roundup? It was all BS.
Yeah.
And we were going to have him there because he was going to get arrested. And he was calling people around. His brother-in-law worked for me. He went to prison. He got out of prison. He already died. But I remember as a cop, I didn't want to do that. But then the more I dug, I said, I don't see him as a cop anymore. He's a criminal just like all the other ones. And then it was much easier. But I remember when they first called me, I walked in that door and like I said, I'm going to bite down to that cyanide capsule if you can look at me funny.
Hey, Bobby, on your case, was the guy tied to one of the Sinaloa cartels that infiltrated the police department?
No, he was just a vicioso. He was stealing from the impound lot and had been doing it for years. And he was doing it for so long, finally they had to say, we just got to stop. He's not going to get more time. We went back several years, and he had this little scam. The department trusted him. He had a supervisor that was just not paying attention. His supervisor was forced to retire on the spot, and it was something that had to happen, but it was crazy because, like I said, on roundup day, I had a sick feeling that that our guys were going to put cuffs on him and book him. So,
Bobby, was he stealing dope at the time? What was he stealing?
Impound vehicles that had been paid off by the insurance company. Everything. He had a brother that had a body shop, and they were selling stolen cars, VIN switches, and like I said, they were making money off of it, and that's all he was doing by himself. There was nobody else involved. But he just and when they asked him, he's like, "Come on, nobody. This is no big deal. These are stolen vehicles anyway. The insurance company paid off. Who cares?" That was the mentality he had.
And that's the justification. With these guys ripping up the carteles, they think it's dirty money. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Yep.
They're going to spend it anyway. And that's the mentality that these guys have. So what happened, John?
So when the same thing. I mean, these guys were stealing overtime. It's like, it's not coming from the city. It's federal overtime. It's federal money. It's our taxpayers' money. There's no victim here. That's the way they looked at it. Mm-hmm. So then it goes on, dude. And like I said, we go through this whole thing. And then, so here it comes, bro. The council, they get more dirty people. So it goes from having good, now they bring a crook back in there. And this council member is all, is trying to get me out of the way because I'm a snitch. And he can't do his dirty politics because I'm a snitch. And so they start off with getting rid of the city manager. and they put in a city manager that was with the city for the longest time. The guy was in charge of public works, uh, but he was the guy. He didn't have a degree, had no experience being city manager, administration. They put him as city manager. First thing he does is he gets rid of the assistant city manager who was part of our cleanup group. Gets rid of him. Retaliation. 2 weeks later, he moves our administrative assistant that had been with the department for 20 at that time for 25 years, an administrative assistant. They move her to the library, public library, as administrative assistant, which they don't need one, never had one, and now she's over there because their excuse was that they were going to cross train all administrative assistants. So then 2 weeks later, they get rid of Chief Bostic, and they bring this interim chief, which I was told when he brought in, was told by this guy, myself and the lieutenant, is this guy is only going to be here while we get another chief. He's not here for the long run, and he's only going to be there while we clean, while we get a chief. He's not going to undo, because I asked him, is he coming here to undo the investigations and bring back those fired officers? Oh, no, no, no. He's not going to do none of that. Okay, cool. 2 weeks later, I get put on admin leave. I knew it. I knew it was coming. I could read it. And so according to the papers I got it was like conduct unbecoming, and that was it. And I was placed on admin leave December 14th, 2015, I believe. Yeah, 2015. I did all of 2016 on admin leave. I got interviewed for my internal affairs investigation in October of 2016, almost 11 months. 11 months. My internal affairs investigation only lasted being actually interviewed by up in LA by this company that they're all deputy chiefs and chiefs out of Ventura County, because nobody wanted to touch it in Southern Cal and here, and from LA down, they're like, we know what's going on. This is our retaliation. This guy says, yeah, we'll do it, but if this guy didn't do anything, we're gonna do our job. We're not gonna dirty our reputation. Sure enough, 15-minute interview, dude. 15 minutes. And I'm going, is that? And my attorney says, shut up. That's all they're going to ask you. That's it. That's
hey,
where.
Chalo, real quick, can you explain to Bobby, because I don't think he's heard the story, what administrative leave was to you? Were you still allowed back at headquarters, or were you at home? Explain to our viewers what you went through for that year.
So normally administrative leave in our department is this. They give you papers and they say, okay, you are no longer a police officer. You don't have police officer powers. You can't carry your gun off duty. You can't do anything police related. And you're not to come to the police department and contact anybody regarding your investigation. And this is the normal way. And as long as you can do whatever you want, as long as we call you, you are to report to the police department within 2 hours. In 2 hours, maximum 2 hours. So within 2 hours, if they said, "Hey, Charlo, I need you to come to the station," all I ask is in uniform or out of uniform, and they'll say, "Well, without uniform, okay, I'll be there right now." The way they did mine was, you're to stay home between 8 and 12, and 1 and 5. You got to call in the morning and the afternoon. You cannot go anywhere other than doctor's appointments or your kid's school, but you got to get permission from the chief of police prior to doing that.
Wow, you couldn't go to Calexico, go eat Chinese food?
I couldn't say, hey, you know what? I need to get out of the house and go for a walk for an hour or two because my mind is going crazy. So I go out there and dude, I'm paranoid at this point. And I'm like, I'm doing stuff around my house, and if something breaks, I got to go to Lowe's. It's like, man, Lowe's is only 10 minutes away from my house. I went, well, I got 50 minutes. I can do it. No, man, I've got 30 minutes. If I get stuck on traffic or something happens, or if I would just have to wait till I'm off of work.
They were trying to make you just quit, obviously.
No, I think they were trying to get me for insubordination. Since they didn't have anything on me solid, They figured, you know what? If we catch this guy out there and he's on admin leave and he had no permission to be out there, boom, he's done.
Yeah.
You know what, Charlo, with our department, San Diego PD, I've never heard of that. I've heard, like Roger said, he worked for the San Diego Sheriffs, another legend. They tell you you're on the beach and you're at home. You know what I mean? You
can come and go do whatever you want. They call you, they expect you to show up at a reasonable time.
Yeah.
If they say, hey, we need you to come down to headquarters or come go down to the substation. All right, I'll be there. I'll be there in an hour. I was mowing my lawn. Yeah, just be here. It's okay. We understand. So then I do my the stuff, and right before my year is over, because here in California, the way our police officer bill of rights, it says that you need to be giving your whatever discipline they're going to give you in no more than a year. They got 1 year to finish that investigation, or else you're done. So the chief at the time knocks on my door and he says, "Hey man, you know what? Here you go. You're 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 clear, and go see Lieutenant Serrano for your gun and your ID and your badge and your car, your take home car. But you're not to report back till January 24th, 2017." I'm going like, dude, but we're like a month away from that. Well, don't worry about it. I'm going, what the hell? I mean, well, I guess he doesn't want to. I'm at that point. I'm going, I'm not restricted to my house. No, now I'm gonna take advantage, dude. You know. So later on, I never saw what my investigation was in reality until I became chief, and that chief had been gone, and I'm looking at my investigation. And it's like they were they were going after me for destruction of the hard drive that I had every right to get rid of, to destroy
And you had
it
a witness.
back in 2013.
Wow.
And they said that it was criminal. So apparently they got some uh, Muslim guy who didn't like me, that his son got beat up after his mom called that he had a bunch of marijuana at his house, and the mom got rid of the marijuana with the cops, and so he got picked up, and they went out there and they beat the shit out of him. And but this happened. Okay, so I destroyed my hard drive June 2013. This thing happened October of 2013, and they were saying that I had pictures of the kid being beat up, or beat up and stuff like that. And I said, dude, this guy got beat up in October, 3 months, 4 months after I destroyed a hard drive. How can I have those pictures in my hard drive? And why would I have those pictures in my hard drive? I don't know. They were just trying so hard, to get me for something, and nothing stuck. Because God took care of me, and because, dude, I made sure that I did everything the right way. You
Hey,
know,
Chalo, now we fast forward. Now,
yeah.
how did you become a chief of police after all this happened? Now,
So
all of a sudden, reminds me of that story of Joshua. I think it was Joshua that his brothers threw him in the dungeon, and then he worked his way back up. How did you come out of the dungeon? How
so
did you
so
become the chief
so I
of
come
police?
back, and this chief is there, and I last one year with this chief that wanted me out. And I mean, this guy, I mean, I couldn't trust him, man, at all. And you know what? I had worked with him. He had been a sergeant in our department, then he took off and he was a chief somewhere else, and I thought we were cool. And when he did that to me, I was like, man, why is he doing this to me? Well, you know what? There was other motives, but I'm not here to, things happen, and you move on. So then in 2018, the city, that there was a city council member that's trying to outsource. The same city council was trying to get rid of me, since he couldn't get rid of me. He says, you know what? We're going to outsource our PD to the sheriff's office. So he goes over there, and they tell the city manager, tells, there's a new city manager, really nice guy. He tells the chief, hey, you know what? Tell me how I you can save your department from being outsourced. And so apparently, I mean, he said something to the city manager. It was not cool. City manager gets fires him, makes me the interim. But I tell the city manager, look, dude, I want a golden parachute. I want a golden handshake. I want out. I don't want to be a cop no more. I'm so tired of this. Give me 1 year and I'm out of your hair. And he says, nah, I want you to be my interim. So I'm interim for 8 months, dude. And so come December, I tell him, hey, you know what, dude? So what? Are you gonna give me my retirement? Give me 1 year, dude. That puts me at uh, you know so many years, and I want to retire. He says, oh, he goes, I want to offer you the job as a chief. I said, what do you want? And I said, all right, this is what I want. I said, I want to start at step 3 at 1 year probation. I top out step 5. I want you guys. I want you guys to buy me my retirement badge when I retire. I want this. I want a severance package of 8 months. I want to increase my my time off. I wanted this, and I don't have to report to anybody but you. I don't have to talk to the city council if I don't want to. I put all these things, dude, and I say, he's gonna say no. He's gonna want give me my retirement. So I'm home December 14th, 2018, and I'm doing stuff around the house, and he says, my phone rings, and it's him, and I say, hey, what's going on, sir? He says, hey, he's younger than me. He says, hey, can you come in my office? I said, oh man, are you gonna fire me? Good. And he said, no, 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 come to the office. He goes, the mayor's here, and we want to talk to you. I said, about what? He goes, no, just get over here. I said, dude, I'm in shorts, dude. I just finished mowing my lawn. It's this and that. Dude, get over here. So I go in shorts, and I walk in, and it says, he gives me my contract. He goes, there it is, everything you wanted. And I said, dude, really? And so I call my wife, and I said, they want to give me a contract for 3 years. And she's like, wow, did they give you everything you want? Yeah, yeah. And you don't have to deal with this. Yeah, yeah. He goes, well, it's up to you. And he goes, if you want to do it, I'll back you up. If you don't, then you don't. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it a try for I can. My contract says that all I gotta do is give him 30 days notice, and we can both just shake hands and I walk away. Dude, best decision I would have made, dude. And the funny thing is, December 14th, 2015 is when they put me in annual leave. December 14th, 2018, I get my job as chief. So
Wow.
that date got erased with something positive.
Yeah.
So come December, we saved the department. I had really good people work for me. These guys did an outstanding job, man. I mean, like I said, a lot of positive stuff going. Still did not hire people. Then we went through the whole COVID stuff. Went through a lot as a department, and then my contract was set to expire December 30th, 2021, and in August of 2021, I sent a memorandum to my city manager, and a letter actually that says, hey, you know what? Thank you very much. It's been great. I started my career as an explorer. I went up the ranks, and I'm just giving you notice that I will not be seeking to, a new contract come December. I will be retiring, and so I retired.
We got a we got a great compliment from Big Joe saying thank you for your years of service, Chalo. A job well done. Your life should be a movie. Danny
Yeah.
DeVito should play you. He didn't write that down.
And Danny DeVito's gonna play my friends from now. Benny, we just have to
Uh,
grow. So yeah, dude. So we go out there, and I officially retired December 30th, 2018. But the new city manager at the time, he says, Chief, do me a favor, man. Can you stay on for 3 months while we transition to a new chief? And I said, yeah, I'll stay for 3 months. Honest guys, 2 months into it, I should have just left in December. It was good, but just I think I was done. And so March 30th of 2021 is it's 2022 March 30th, 2022 was my last day as a chief, and I walked away. They put an interim chief, and he was there for a little bit over a year. And then they got another interim chief that was there for 3 months, and then right now they're on another interim chief that's been there for almost 4 months.
we have another great compliment from our another legend. He's going to be on tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on the Gray Line. The case would drive a man to drinking. Integrity is
Absolutely.
everything. And the chief, you, Chalo, you have that integrity.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Hey, you know what? Let me tell you one thing I do, and I've always practiced this throughout my whole police career. And I come from a family that my dad used to love to drink, uncles love to drink, and everything like that. Is when I'm not having a good time, if I'm going through something in my life that's not good, I won't drink.
Mhm.
I did not drink one drop of alcohol the whole time I was on admin leave. I just needed to keep a sound mind. I mean, I don't know if this would have pushed me over to try to commit suicide or get into a verbal with my wife or my kids to say something that later on I was going to regret because of alcohol. So for you guys that are listening to and tell your kids, your loved ones, friends, if you guys are going through some really bad times, alcohol and drugs are not the time to do it.
Yeah.
It's only going to drive you to do something more stupid, something that's going to get you fired or killed, or I mean, it's going to drive you, something that's not right. That's always been my advice to young people when I go to the academy here locally and talk to me. I always told them that, hey, look, if you guys are going to a hard time, reach out to somebody. Don't drink, don't do drugs, don't do anything stupid because you can't take back those actions.
Chalo, so now you're retired, and thank God, man. I love hearing this story because it shows our show, the people that we have. Last week 2 weeks ago, we had Benny talking about his academy days, and Benny's also a great legend. Now the integrity that you went through, man, brother. On behalf of the Gray Line, on behalf of every law enforcement officer in the state of California, in our nation, in the world, thank you, brother, for outstanding service, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. You
Right
guys are
here.
awesome. You guys are awesome, man.
Salud,
You
salud.
guys drove me to drinking today. So good.
Hey, Chalo, ¿sabes qué? Muchas gracias. Thank you, brother. Now, when people watch you tomorrow night, when we have Doug on the show, they're going to see you're going to say, man, that man, he didn't read it. He went through it. And you know what? Integrity.
Integrity
And
means
God's
everything, man.
grace got you through.
And you know what? You got to be a man of God, man. Man of
Yeah.
God. And you know what? Hats off. First of all, primeramente God, Dios, Jesus Christ, man, my Savior, my wife, my kids, my mom, familia, man. And
Yeah.
and you know what? You know who your friends are when you're going through something like this, and they'll reach out to you. And the people that I expect to reach out to me didn't, and the people that I did not expect to reach out to me just to see, hey, man, hang in there. You're a good guy, bro. If you need anything, I'm here for you. We're there for me, dude.
Absolutely.
My,
Absolutely.
my my mom, my wife, my suegros, dude. My suegros went through this just like if they were going. My suegro would come every day. He was retired, man. Paz descanse. And my suegra to see how I was doing to kick back. I would send me, hey suegro, can you go to go to Lowe's and give me this extra part? Because oh no, not that way. I'll go over there. You go over there. But you know what? Bendito Dios, man. I had such a good support system when I was going through all that stuff, dude.
Hey, Chalo, so now that you're retired, you go and you actually go like to a victory outreach, you go to rehabilitation centers and you give testimony now, right? Now
So
that you're retired.
yeah, I done a couple. I joined the Christ Community Church in Calexico. My pastor, believe it or not, he's an addict, recovered addict, but he's been a pastor for a little bit over 25 years. I used to chase this guy around back in the days, man. He was a bad boy, man. And you know what? I can go to the campus here close to my home, but I drive all the way down to Calexico, bro, on Sundays because I love his testimonies. I love the way he preaches. I love the way he teaches. And we got so much to, bond together now that I tell man, I said, if somebody would have told me, hey, bro, when you retire or right before you retire, because I started inviting him over to my office when I was a chief, when I had to make some bad decisions. And I say, hey, bro, you know what? I need spiritual guidance. He would go over there, dude. He would go over there, dude. Every day he would go over there. I mean, when I needed him, though. So we're close. So Pastor Frank Sasueta, my hats off. Thank God for putting in my life, and made my decisions at work a lot easier because they were always done with good intentions, man. Even the discipline stuff, they're never done, out of spite with me.
And you know what, Doug Collier, he talked about the dream team that San Diego PD had that he supervised. And I'll tell you, the best of the best, cream of the crop. And he even says, I saved every email and letter of support I got to this day. I read them and it makes me smile. That's beautiful,
Exactly,
man.
exactly, man. You hold on to that stuff, man, because people,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised who appreciates you and who doesn't.
Right.
And we got forced overtime. I can attest that Charlo's integrity is his calling card. Man, that's
Thank you, man.
beautiful.
Appreciate it, man. That's all we have, man. That's like I said, upbringing from my dad, man. And, my mom, and my dad told me, that your word means everything, man. Don't you lose that, and you're done.
Chalo, once again, brother, thank you very much.
Great
Bobby, any
show.
last words for Chalo before
Great
we let him
show.
go?
Great show. I had not heard this testimony from you. It's awesome, and congratulations that you're able to fight through. And you
Appreciate it.
do learn who your friends are when you're down.
Yep.
And I'm sure all of us can attest to that. When you're down, people that you think are going to reach out to you don't, and the ones you'll get a lot of them that will surprise you, that will reach out. And
You
you
know,
make
it reminds
lifelong
me, my
friends that way.
father was a pastor, and he was also a pastor in the Apostolic Church. And he used to always say, may you rest in peace, great man of God. He would always say, when you get to heaven, son, you're gonna find two surprises. And he goes, surprise number one, people that you thought were going to be there are not going to be there, and people that you didn't think they were going to be there, they're going to be there.
Exactly.
And you know what? That's the way it is with friendships. Chalo, mil gracias, brother.
I appreciate it,
gracias
man.
for everything, brother. And my utmost respect. And we'll see you tomorrow night with Doug, where we're going to
Hey, real quick, like, hey, David, so now everybody knows why I'm always kidding. I mean, after you've been slapped around, dragged through the mud, you know, and being like that, dude, life's fun, dude. You gotta laugh. You can't be serious, man, all the time.
Exactly.
You know,
and you know what? We got Jim DeGenis. They call him Batman. And next week, we're going to profile him on our show next Tuesday. And he's watching you all the way from Thailand right now.
Oh,
he's in Thailand. I don't know what time it is over there, brother, but he's up watching us right now. Thank you, brother. We're going to profile your life next week.
It's like six in the morning, early tomorrow. I think
he's there. He's watching, brother. He's watching.
It's early tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, Chalo, we love you, brother.
Right.
Mil gracias. Hey, integrity overcomes everything.
Yeah,
God bless you, Chalo.
Right,
we'll see you tomorrow night. All right, gracias.
Right.
Hey, Bobby, you know, we always think that Mexico, we always talk about, I'm going to use Mexico because that's where you and I worked. We always think that it's corrupt. But, I mean, you hear this story in America. You know, I mean, right across the border, you hear it. And these stories are duplicated in Miami. They're duplicated in Kansas City, all over America. So we're not, how can I say, it ain't that we're not any better or any worse, but you know what? Corruption exists at all levels of government. And here we are in Calexico, but a man like Chalo of integrity overcame it. What do you think about that, Bobby?
Great story, you know. And, you know, when I met you in Mexico City, I don't even think I even told you about it, but there was a boss that did not like cops. She was my boss. She was a boss for the whole program. And she just didn't like us. She was a career state diplomat, you know, Ivy Leaguer or whatever, went to some great school. And she decided she just did not like, if she didn't like you, she'd come after you. She was on my side. And once she realized that I did not want to go to Mexico City, I just had to outlive her. She tried coming after me. And I remember when I met you in Mexico City, we went out, had dinner, had a couple of beers. In the back of my mind, that was always like, every time she'd call me, I was like, she was trying to make my life so miserable that I would just leave. But I stuck around. Yeah, can you hit on this, David? But it was, you get these people that forget we have a mission to do in other countries. And she got rid of some really good guys that just got tired of the BS and left. But yeah, it was disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting what I saw in missions in other countries, because I did it for 10 years. But you just got to try and outlive them. They eventually will leave, and was able to outlive her and stay there. And I left on my own power when it was time for me to leave.
And I think Doug Collier mentioned it earlier. He hit the nail in the head when he said we're not immune to it. You know, because at the end of the day, we're human, but it's no excuse, but we're not immune to corruption. With that said, our last question, I promised Token Box. Thank you for watching the show, Token Box from Texas. He has a question, Bobby, and I think you can answer it. I've been blackballed in Texas. Can you all elaborate more on the meaning of blackball? And I think it's a CI, and if it's a CI, I have the answer, but I want to hear it from you, Bobby.
Well, it depends what it is, because I have, right now, I just got a call. I'll call him later. I had a guy that I recruited him in Mexico to work with us. He worked for he was a Mexican, high-ranking Mexican police officer, did great work. I recruited him. He worked for various agencies. And then I tried to hook him up with an agency down here in the U.S. to help us out. And he was told, you've been blackballed. We don't know why. We try to figure out and try to help him out. He had great intel that he was helping us out with. Eventually, I reached back to Mexico City. He's back in good graces. I never found out why he'd been blackballed, but all it took is one person or one agency to say he's no good, yet they would never explain why. And now he's back. He's helping our government, doing some really good work. And it took a couple of years for us to be able to get him back in good graces. So it depends if you're trying to get on as a cop, or working as a source, as a concerned citizen, or as a source, whatever it is. It's sad. Sometimes somebody could say something, he's no good. It happens even with us as cops. You could try to be transferring someone, and it takes one person to say he's no good. It could be personal. It could be something personal they have against you, and you just have to wait them out. So I hope I was able to answer that question. You want to add some more there, David?
No, I think you answered it correctly, Bobby. I mean, it all depends on the individual, what he was. When I was working narcotics the last 2 years of my career, I blackballed one individual because he was lying to us. And then he went to another team. He was lying to him. So we said, finally, enough is enough. We blackballed him. So that usually is one of the many cases why we blackball informants. With that said, Bobby, man, it was another great episode. In 2 weeks, we have Sean. He's going to be talking about, he got involved in several shootings on the border team. He's going to be with us. He smokes cigars. He have a cigar. And then in 4 weeks, we're going to have, hopefully, Saul. He's going to be on our show. He doesn't know about it yet, but he just found out. He's watching, and he wants to know if you played baseball, so he'll be able to answer that question. And Saul, I believe, holds the record of most undercover buys for the city of Phoenix. He'll be joining us, and I have a list of people that want to come on. So we got a whole cadre of people. And Bobby, in the month of June, we're going to dedicate the whole month to a fallen officer. Tell us a little bit about him, and then we're going to say goodbye. We're going to dedicate the month of June to your compadre, to our brother in arms who was murdered by the cartels.
Yeah, DEA Special Agent Richard Foss was killed June 30th, 1994. He was a partner. We worked a lot of cases together. I mentioned a close call I had where I could have been shot, and Saul and Richard saved my ass. And, every year when I'm in town, when I'm in the country, because I was gone for 10 years, I always make an attempt to get down there. So on the anniversary of his death, I go down to Tucson where he's buried, and I have a drink and I smoke a cigar for him. And we go down there. This last year, I had Saul go with me. The last, I believe, 2 years now, he's gone with me. So I hope I'm still in country. Yeah, I might be in Abu Dhabi by that time, but if I'm still here, I will definitely go down there with you guys. But I will be in connection with you guys over the internet with you guys if that happens. But we can never forget him. He was an incredible guy, a believer in what we were doing, and he gave his life doing what he believed in. And June will be it'll be awesome to remember him. I'm still in contact with his older brother. His older brother's in Tucson, and when we do the trip down south, I'll introduce you guys to him. If not, Saul can introduce you to him as well.
I'm going to definitely fly down for that. I'll stay the night, and I'll smoke a cigar, have a drink, honor. We'll do one of our shows there. Whether you're at Dobby, wherever you're at, brother, we're going to do a show. But the whole month, maybe we are on the show, get another DEA agent. But the whole month, the 2 episodes that we have is going to be dedicated to him. With that said, Bobby, once again, brother, thank you very much. We had a wonderful time tonight. My cigar lasted. It was a good cigar. My trago's still there. Brother, salud. And we'll see you in 2 weeks, Bobby. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you, Bobby. And it's gonna be great. Have a good one, Bobby.
Good.
Everybody that watches tomorrow night on the Gray Line at 6 o'clock, we have our story, Who is Doug Collier? If you guys are going to miss a show, do not miss tomorrow night. It's going to be an outstanding episode. The PowerPoint that we have, it's going to be outstanding. Gracias, Bobby. Salud y Dios te bendiga.
Thank you.
Used to spend my nights out in ballroom. Liquor was the only love I'd known. But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom and brought